I didn't care for this game as much as I hoped I would. Honestly, by the end, I was pretty frustrated. But I'll get to that later. I gotta make sure you stay for the whole video, right? Oh wait, I should do that stupid quote-unquote content creator thing where I say you should like and subscribe. Nah, that. Do what you want. See, now that attitude is what drew me into Turbo Overkill. This is when the game is at its best. When you're running around at blistering speed, flipping enemies off, shooting jerks, and ripping them up with your saw leg. Yes, I said saw leg. When Turbo Overkill focuses on this, it is brilliant. The Bit Crush visuals blend very well with the cyberpunk-themed gore fest that is presented, and this all gives off a punk feel. You play as Johnny Turbo. Generic name aside, there's a story running throughout the game, and it's decent enough. Nothing new, but still entertaining. You know, the usual backstabbing and sweet revenge you can find in games like this. It's a serviceable story that leads you to massive amounts of death and destruction, all at breakneck speed. So why did I have such problems with this game? Sounds awesome, right? Platforming. God, the platforming. Where fast-paced shooting and sliding is where the game shines, almost every instance that involved platforming felt awful for me. Climbing up a ladder to dash off it and desperately attempt to grab another ladder or run along a wall gave me rage. I typically dislike platforming in most first-person shooter games at a base level, but goodness, I cannot express how much I did not like it in Turbo Overkill. I never felt fully in control, and some levels I outright hated due to the major focus on platforming. As an example, there was a level earlier on that is almost completely vertical in design. I had made my way very high up, then happened to slide off the edge while taking out enemies. Thinking it would reset me back where I was, I fell almost to the bottom of the level. I was very, passionate about what happened. Through all the aspects of this game I disliked, I could still see an excellent game underneath. The shooting and movement felt snappy, and I absolutely loved when new types of levels were thrown in to add variety. A level I loved that broke the gameplay loop up was a semi-open one where you're able to use your vehicle to fly around and complete objectives. It didn't feel too overbearing or big, but gave a sense of freedom that was a nice change from the normal run and gun, and sadly jump. Something else I appreciated were the size of the levels. I spent nearly an hour in the aforementioned open area just exploring, completing objectives, and shooting fools. Speaking of shooting fools, there is a decent selection of weapons here too. Although the shotgun does not feel good to use, which is a sin when speaking of first-person shooter games, I had a good time with all the other tools of the trade. There are the standard shooter weapons like pistols, SMGs, and rocket launchers, but they incorporated some unique ones that were pleasant surprises, such as a sniper rifle that also allows you to teleport to an enemy and promptly explode them. In addition to these, well, nice additions, each weapon has the potential for an alternate type of fire. These were largely fun and added even more variety. Swapping between these alternate shots was extremely easy too. With the push of a button, you could use or swap between the alternate shots. When swapping between weapons, you could either push the button to move to the next weapon or hold a button to bring up the weapon wheel. This is pretty standard stuff, but what I found annoying was that time didn't really stop or slow down much when bringing up the weapon wheel. I'd be switching to something else, using the wheel, and would get blasted by enemies in doing so. As if I didn't feel so mixed on this game already, the music didn't help with my outlook. There are some songs that are outstanding, especially later in the game, but in harsh juxtaposition to those excellent compositions, there are many songs that just feel like too much. Believe it or not, there can be too much of a good thing. Who would have thought? When tapping into the Bit Crush style of music, there's a very easy mistake that can be made. There's too much that it becomes overwhelming. This is called audio fatigue or listening fatigue, when there's just too much noise going on. Even if the notes are technically in the right key or put together in a way that resembles a song, it makes the listener feel exhausted in a way. Personally, I had this for most of the experience, and it got to a point for me that I just simply turned the music down and played with the game audio. This definitely improved my experience. I'm not saying the music is outright bad, it's too much, it's just too much. Turbo Overkill is an excellent boomer shooter-esque game hidden behind a lot of frustrating creative choices. I really wanted to love this game, but I just didn't. However, there's still a good game here, good enough that I finished the game despite my various dislikes. Ultimately, I'm glad I bought this game because I want to see what this team can do with the sequel and build upon a really excellent core that they've created. If you're really into boomer shooters, you may like this one, but there's a caveat. This game is fast, like really fast. So if you like a good, mindless shooter with a blistering pace and you can look past platforming in this type of game, I can absolutely recommend Turbo Overkill.